So I've got some shallots that are going in today, and some beetroot and some Radabo chard, and I've got some cabbages and looking really nice, these cabbages. These are the pointy ones, which I prefer to the round ones. I don't know why really, they seem to be just as tasty. Some lettuces and some sugar snap peas. They haven't all germinated, but what there is will finish up the row, and I'm gonna just sow some more, but I really needed the space in the greenhouse. So for the food bank, we have some more lettuces going in. Again, they've got some peas, beetroot and chard as well, so they'll be planting that lot up. So you can imagine this is going to leave me a lot of space in the greenhouse, and I've been pricking up all the brassicas from when I went away on holiday, so now they can all go down into the greenhouse, which is brilliant. So I'm down on the allotment now, and here's the shallots, and if you come around you'll see that I've started to do some holes down here, and then I'm going to just take out the shallots now, just pop them up, and you can see they've got really good roots, and then I'm just going to put them in like that. Normally I just push it down and that's it. So I'm going to do this whole row of shallots. I might just do the rest of the holes a little bit deeper, and I'm going to do 2 rows along here, and that should do the whole of the shallots. So you can see how, even though there's no green top, don't worry about it, because underneath there'll be some beautiful roots, and that will save a few weeks in the growing period, so you'll get the shallots a little bit earlier. So that's 2 rows of shallots all in, and they might look like they're quite close, and in some ways they are, but they are planted alternate in the ones opposite. So rather than being parallel with the ones opposite, I've alternated them. And doing that allows you to just plant a little bit closer. And the reason why I've done that is because I want to smooth this part out a bit more and plant aubergines in here. And by the time the aubergines or the peppers get large, these shallots will nearly be ready to come out. And I'm going to put like a small glass frame around it just to give it a little bit of extra warmth. So that's the kind of idea. So I'm going to make this into a bit more of a glass extension for the aubergines and the peppers. But they're looking really good. I'm pleased with those. Popped in my pointy cabbages, and they look really healthy and they're looking good. So these cabbages don't need covering from the weather, but they do need protecting from the birds. So I've just thrown a very light mesh over it, just to stop the birds coming and demolishing them. We have had a little bit of snail or slug damage, but it's not too bad. So I'm quite happy with that. So this is going to be my root bed for things like beetroot, which we've just planted in here. So beetroot, turnips, swedes, celeriac, and various other things. Turnips, although I planted some turnips earlier, but they've all been eaten, so that wasn't very successful. But the beetroot are going to do nicely, and I'll have a load more beetroot. I was going to put my carrots in here, but I'm not so sure, because we want to eat a lot of carrots, and I'm not sure that we're going to have enough space. But I don't have to make that final decision now. But so I'll do that shortly. But this will be great as a root vegetable crop bed, and it shouldn't need too much management other than some weeding. These are the Swiss chard. They look very much like beetroot, same family, but 2 rows of Swiss chard. That will keep us in chard for a while. I will put another sowing in though, because sometimes depending on the weather they could go to seed. So, but we'll get a crop from this even if that happens. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be putting in the rest of this bed, but under here are my broad beans, and I'm going to take the covers off those next week. Not that they can't come off now, just that I haven't got the will to live today. I'm very tired, so I want to sort it out next week. So the broad beans will come out, and they look like they're quite established, and then I can just finish off a little bit of weeding along here, because eventually this is where probably our either melons or cucumbers or beans, anything climbing will come up, will go up here, and we've got a few of them, so it's just deciding what to do next. It's just so lovely to have a nice dry day with nice weather. Oh gosh, it's such a relief to be able to get actually on the plot rather than coming down to have a swim. And just to give you a little look, the spring bulbs on our little flower bed are looking beautiful, very cheery. Oh, look at this one. Aren't they just beautiful? So that brings us some cheer and some hope that the spring flowers are all popping up, and the blueberries are coming into bud and looking very hopeful. So now I'm actually going to go home and have a cup of tea. I think we've done a good job today. Oh, all these bags are leaves and horse manure, which needs to go into the compost, but another day, another job. Always plenty of them. I've just lifted the covers off the broad beans, and you can see it's extremely weedy where it's been protected from some of the very cold weather and where we laid the compost, so I'm going to clear that. I've got a few broad beans that have survived and are flowering, so I'll just try and find those. I do have another half tray of broad beans which I may or may not plant here, as they'll be slightly later in developing, and also will mean that it will be later for me to be able to clear this patch. So I'll have a little think once I've cleared it, but it's all superficial, it shouldn't take me too long. So I've just started to weed here, just done some hand weeding, got the worst of it off, and I'm pleased to say I've got a few more broad beans than I thought now, so I'm not going to plant the new ones. I'm going to see if I can give them away to somebody else, because once these broad beans are finished I'm going to want to clear this space, and we don't really eat a lot of broad beans, so but it's also always nice to have a few early crops of something different. So I'll just keep this lot. I'm going to hoe this fairly well and just finish cleaning the weeds now, which will be easier to do with the hoe, and then just go through it and pick up the weeds. You can see that the soil is really good, full of compost. Yep, so I'll show you that once I've done the job. Thank you for joining me today, and wherever you are, whatever you're doing, happy growing, and I'll see you the next time. Take care now. Bye bye.